When I started my recovery journey, those first couple of days and weeks and even months, I was being tempted. There were cravings, that addiction, that part of me wanted to go back to the familiar. There was obviously physical withdrawal and all that kind of stuff, and my mental energy was all over the place. And it got me frustrated, like a lot of people would. It got me feeling down and frustrated and not really understanding what was really happening to me. And although all those things are true, what I'd like to talk about today is a little bit more of a deeper level that I've noticed in my experience, even lately with some of the other things that I'm managing, like food and other things like that. Um, so I'm a firm believer in the inner child concept, and I believe that in the beginning of my recovery, this inner child needed to test me. And why it did this? Simply because it had been burnt many times before. Many times I told it that I would do this and didn't do it, didn't follow through, or told it that I would come back later and deal with it, but didn't. And this little child came over and he'd sometimes be tugging on my pant leg, and I'd just swipe him off and said, "Get away. I'm busy. I don't have time for this right now." Eventually, distrust grew between us, and he locked himself into a deep, dark place, and he just stayed there, lost, confused from all the mixed messages I was sending him, telling him I would do all these things and then not doing them. The thing that I sort of find positive about the distrust is that it can be dissolved and the trust can be built. And that's what I did. Baby steps, small little promises, and following through. Postponing something and saying, "I'm sorry, this is grown up time right now, but we will get back to this meditation time or journaling time or on the weekend or tonight," and then working with him through that, answering his questions. I believe that this inner child got burnt and disappointed, and I proved mistrust to him. And he had to test cravings, temper tantrums, and all that kind of stuff. And with every test that I passed, we got closer and closer together. He was still in darkness, lost and confused, smothered, cocooned, locked inside that onion. But he was trying to dig out a little bit because now he was curious, felt a little more security, and maybe considering surrendering to my parental wisdom. And I, on the other hand, was outside digging into the onion to eventually meet him. So the testing, although you just want to grab him and shake him and think, "Why are you making this so hard on me? We both want the same things." It's not from a maleficious place or any kind of attack or self destruction. I think it's a self defense mechanism. I think that it says to us, "You're not going to follow through with this. You never do. You can't do this. You're just going to let us down again." And we get insulted and annoyed by this. But what he's really just doing is calling out the history, calling out our track record, and protecting himself, saying, "I'm not going to fall for this again." But eventually, by taking those small steps, acknowledging, answering the questions, following through, this child will reach out. He might not open the door and run and jump into your arms quite yet, but he will reach out, maybe touch your hand and maybe brush up against you and let you know that he's out of the darkness now and that he's ready to consider. Maybe it'll take a couple of weeks, maybe it'll even take a couple of months, but that's okay because Every single time we acknowledge him and we give him what he needs, then it grows. The relationship grows. And then when that child is out and he's blossoming and flourishing, we can utilize that bliss, that innocence, that intrigue, that curiosity, that creativity that they have to enhance our life. We commit to something, we unite, and we work toward that goal. It's a beautiful thing when the inner child comes out and he surrenders, or at least he meets you halfway. You're whole. It's the holistic approach at our health. You become allies. You're both pulling the wagon in the same direction. I wish that for you. And I'll keep putting these videos out until the miracle happens and you and your inner child unite, and then the distrust dissolves and we have resolved the issue, a coming together of both.